We often think of history as something solid, inevitable, carved in stone. We memorize dates and battles as if they were written in the stars. But when you look closer, you realize that history is anything but solid. The American story isn't a straight line. It's a chaotic web of possibilities, where the nation we know today was often saved by mere inches, seconds, or a sudden change in the weather. Today, we're going to explore the shadows of the timeline, the Americas that almost were. These are the moments when history held its breath, and for a terrifying second, the future could have gone a completely different way. Let us start in the summer of 1776. The American Revolution is just weeks away from being crushed. General George Washington and his Continental Army are trapped on Brooklyn Heights, pinned against the East River by a massive British force. Defeat seems certain, but on the night of August 29th, Washington orders a desperate evacuation. What saves them? A miraculous, dense fog that rolls in the next morning, completely hiding their retreat from British eyes. Now, imagine if the wind had shifted. Imagine the morning of August 30th dawns bright and clear. The fog never arrives. The British General Howe looks through his spyglass and sees the American army, exposed and vulnerable. Halfway across the river, the Royal Navy moves in. The retreat becomes a massacre. In this reality, George Washington isn't a founding father. He's a captured traitor, sent to London in chains. The other leaders, Jefferson, Adams, Franklin, are hunted down. There is no United States of America. The American Rebellion becomes a footnote in British history books. North America remains a collection of British colonies, perhaps gaining independence slowly like Canada. But the revolutionary fire that defined America is extinguished before it can truly burn. The world never sees a U.S. Constitution. Now let us jump to the year 1800. The presidential election is a bitter contest between John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. But due to a flaw in the system, Jefferson ends up tied with his own running mate, the ambitious and morally flexible Aaron Burr. The decision goes to the House of Representatives. After 36 agonizing ballots, Alexander Hamilton's influence finally secures the presidency for Jefferson. But what if just one vote had changed? Burr, a man driven by power, not principle, refuses to back down. The Federalists, who despise Jefferson, consider making a deal with Burr just to spite him. In our alternate timeline, on that 36th ballot, a single congressman changes his vote. Aaron Burr becomes the third president of the United States. Jefferson, feeling the election was stolen, retreats to Virginia. The country is instantly fractured. Burr governs like a king, ignoring the Constitution when it gets in his way. The fragile Union shatters. New England secedes. The Civil War doesn't happen in 1861. It erupts in 1804. The United States collapses into competing nations, and European powers swoop back in to reclaim their old territories. The American experiment lasts less than 30 years. Fast forward to September 1862. The Civil War is raging. Confederate General Robert E. Lee has launched a daring invasion of the North. His entire complex plan, Special Order 191, is written down and, by a bizarre twist of fate, wrapped around 3 cigars and accidentally dropped in a field. Union soldiers find it, armed with Lee's secrets. Union General McClellan intercepts him, leading to the bloody Battle of Antietam. But imagine a Confederate aide pats his pockets, realizes the cigars are missing, and rides back to find them. The Union never discovers the plans. In this world, the slow and cautious McClellan doesn't know where Lee is. Lee's army marches into Pennsylvania unopposed. He captures major cities and threatens Washington, D.C. Critically. The real-life Battle of Antietam was the victory President Lincoln needed to issue the Emancipation Proclamation. Without that battle, there is no proclamation. The war remains only about preserving the Union, not ending slavery. Seeing Lee's success on northern soil, Great Britain and France, desperate for cotton, formally recognized the Confederacy. They broker a peace treaty. The United States is permanently split in two. The Confederacy survives as a separate nation, with slavery continuing well into the 20th century. A divided America is too weak to become a world power, changing the course of the world wars and the rest of modern history. Let's move to Chile, February 1933. Franklin D. Roosevelt has just been elected president, but hasn't taken office yet. While in Miami, an anarchist named Giuseppe Zangara fires 5 shots at him. In reality, he misses Roosevelt and kills the mayor of Chicago instead. But what if Zangara's hand was steady? What if he wasn't standing on a wobbly chair? What if one of those bullets found its target? FDR dies weeks before his inauguration. His conservative vice president, John Nance Garner, takes office. As the Great Depression devastates the nation, with a quarter of the population unemployed and banks collapsing, Garner offers only austerity and budget cuts. He is completely opposed to the massive government programs that would become the New Deal. The Depression deepens into a catastrophe. Hunger marshes turn into violent riots. Without the social safety net FDR created, American society begins to crumble. Radical ideologies explode. Communism takes hold in the cities, while fascist movements rise in the countryside. By 1936, the country is on the brink of a second civil war or a military takeover. When World War II ignites in Europe, America is too consumed by its own chaos to become the arsenal of democracy, leaving the Axis powers to face a much weaker opposition. Finally, we go to October 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis. The world is on the razor's edge of nuclear war. Deep in the Atlantic, a Soviet submarine, B-59, is being hit with depth charges by the U.S. Navy, trying to force it to surface. The submarine's captain, cut off from Moscow and believing war has already started, gives the order to fire their nuclear torpedo. Launching requires the agreement of 3 senior officers. The captain and the political officer say yes, but one man, Vasily Arkhipov, says no. His refusal saves the world. But what if Arkhipov had been sick that day? What if he had simply agreed with his captain, thinking, we're under attack, we're going to die anyway, so we'll take them with us? The key is turned. The nuclear torpedo obliterates the American aircraft carrier group. President Kennedy, informed that the Soviets have used a nuclear weapon, is forced to retaliate. Within minutes, American missiles are flying toward Moscow. The Soviets launch their own. For the next 12 hours, the Northern Hemisphere is engulfed in fire. Washington, London, New York, and hundreds of other cities simply vanish. A nuclear winter descends upon the planet. The world we know, with its internet and technology, never comes to be. Instead, there are only scattered tribes of survivors, struggling to live on a poisoned earth. The American experiment, and much of humanity, ends in a flash of white light. We walk through our lives assuming everything is stable. But these stories, the fog in Brooklyn, the lost cigars, the argument in a submarine, show us a terrifying truth. We are not the inevitable result of history. We are the survivors of 1,000 near misses. The America we know is a statistical anomaly, a structure built on narrow escapes and unbelievable luck. Remembering what if isn't just a game. It's a powerful reminder to appreciate the present, because it truly hangs by the finest of threads. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through alternate history fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more.